We don't do extras. That's what my daughter-in-law, Genevieve, declared, her voice smooth as silk, as she slid a plain glass of water to me. Reality struck like thunder. Across the table, her family tore into plates of steaming crab legs and fine wine as if royalty had arrived. Not just any crab. Giant Alaskan, glistening with golden garlic butter. I watched, silent, invisible. The hostess smile on Genevieve's face was so sweet it'd rot your teeth, masking the venom as she practically announced, "Grandma gets water, not supper." And there was my son David, nodding along, eyes on the tablecloth. "Ah, you know your place, Mom," he murmured. Not once did he meet my gaze. Have you ever wondered how it feels to be erased by your own family? Right there, I resolved. I wouldn't beg. Not tonight. I simply said, "Noted." Genevieve blinked. That ugly moment when someone expects tears and gets composure instead. Let's rewind. How did I land here? In a gilded restaurant, where my own blood remembered me only as a seat to fill? It started the year I discovered motherhood means giving, until empty. David was my world, my miracle after his father vanished with a suitcase and a string of apologies. I worked a nurse's shift, baked at a bakery before sunrise, scrubbed floors at midnight, all for him. Tuition, textbooks, school lunches, his dreams, my unpaid overtime. When he met Genevieve, delicate as perfume, ambitious as the CEO, I approved quietly, though I saw how she flinched at my thrift store scarves. "Dinner, Mom, to reconnect," David said last week. I ironed my best dress, a humble blue with an old brooch. My hands trembled as I fixed my hair, wanting to look presentable for my only son. At the restaurant, their clan waited. Genevieve, David, and, surprise, her parents, clutching designer handbags and secrets. The greeting was all air kisses and economic glances. Genevieve regarded her diamond watch. "You're late, Evelyn," she said. Not Mom. Not even Mrs. Evelyn, as if we played tennis together. I mumbled about traffic, realizing my chair was tucked at the table's edge. Half hidden, the room sparkled. Crystal lights, white linen, expensive menu covers without prices. Genevieve waved dismissively, ordering, "4 king crab dinners, and your finest Chardonnay." David corrected softly, "3 crabs. Grandma's fine with water." The waiter hesitated, then Genevieve snapped, "No extras." "No extras for me," I said, a lump growing in my chest. Would you have spoken up? Or would you wait, like I did, for their masks to slip? Genevieve's parents were too busy admiring. So exclusive, so elegant. The feast was delivered. Crab, melted butter, golden bread, salads sprinkled with cheese. I had water. Only water. My dignity shrank. I watched the meat. Not a word, no questions, no "how are you?" I might have been wallpaper. Her father, Robert, finally addressed David. "Your mother's awfully quiet. Always been so meek?" David chewed and replied, "She's always been humble. Came up the hard way." Genevieve added, "Yes, humble." She twirled the word like a knife. "If you've ever felt small, stay with me. This story isn't over." Robert's wife, Lucille, poured more wine. "Must be difficult at your age. Not enough savings, not much to show." I kept my eyes down, rage swirling inside. David attempted, "She makes do." Genevieve smirked. "We all do what we can. Some just have more." Their conversation shifted to condos. "Just closed on the new penthouse, Daniel," Genevieve boasted, eyes shining. 3 beds, city view, nearly $500,000, but worth it. They toasted to success, leaving me with only water in hand. Suddenly, Genevieve spoke louder. "We'll finally have space. No drop-ins, no hosting, no unexpected company." Those words were daggers. David shuffled. "Honey, maybe—" Genevieve smiled with feigned warmth. "Just sharing. Everyone should know their boundaries." "Evelyn." I saw then the truth. David wasn't trapped. He was compliant. Have you ever realized someone's betrayal runs deeper than silence? Dessert arrived. 3 chocolate soufflés, dusted with gold. Not for me. Not a question. Not a gesture. Lucille asked, "Evelyn, what do you do lately? Or have you retired?" Genevieve cut in. "She's done everything. Cleaning, cooking, honest work. But not the sort of work our friends would understand." Robert nodded. "Hard work matters, but we ensured Genevieve never struggled like that." I didn't defend myself. I waited. David finally glanced at me, a flicker of guilt. "Are you okay, Mom?" "You're quiet." "I'm just observing," I replied. Genevieve tittered. Observing. How quaint. For the next hour, they discussed careers, parties, Chloe's school prospects, their child, my granddaughter. Now and then, a barb landed. "We want Chloe with people who add value, who can enrich her future," Genevieve declared. The implication was clear. I was unworthy. What would you say if you knew the people you love believe you're not enough? I didn't protest. I knew this dinner, billed as reconciliation, was actually final judgment. Later, as the meal ended, David paid. They'd included my empty seat in the bill. $640, he mused. That's reasonable. 5 people. 5, I thought. 4 diners, 1 seat for humiliation. When it was time to leave, they stood. David suggested I join quickly. "We need to drop Genevieve's folks," I said. "Just a moment. I'll use the restroom." Genevieve rolled her eyes, eager to see me out of sight. But I did not go to the bathroom. I walked a familiar corridor, to the kitchen, where Carlos, my longtime chef, greeted me with warmth and concern. "Mrs. Evelyn, everything okay?" "I'm more than fine, Carlos. I need your help." He nodded. Years of trust passed between us. "When I return to our table, could you come out? Greet me like you always do?" Carlos smiled, understanding. "Absolutely." Back in the dining room, table 12 was already being reset. The evidence, dirty plates, my untouched water, was vanishing. I exited through the main door. Outside, Genevieve and family were giving orders to the valet. David waved absently. "Thanks for coming, Mom," Genevieve echoed. "Very educational. I hope you learned tonight," I replied. "Absolutely. But perhaps it's your turn to learn." Genevieve frowned. "Excuse me?" I stopped them. "Let's go inside for one last word." Genevieve huffed. "Now's not the time." "It's the perfect moment," I answered. They trailed after me, grumbling. We arrived at the table, Carlos waiting discreetly. I addressed David. "Was tonight about boundaries or humiliation?" Genevieve snapped. "We did what was necessary. We've moved up, Mom, and you need to step aside." I locked eyes with her. "You invited me for closure, not connection." Genevieve's parents bristled. "We have standards, Evelyn. You must understand." Carlos stepped forward, clear, respectful. "Mrs. Evelyn, the office needs you." Genevieve and Lucille's faces dropped. "Office?" Carlos said. "Mrs. Evelyn owns this place." All conversation ceased. David stared, mouth open. Genevieve sputtered. "You own... what?" I nodded. "Every chandelier, every painting, every crab platter. This is my restaurant. I built it over decades, from nothing. The modest jobs, the thrift store spending. Those built an empire, and I kept it quiet. For reasons that are now clear. The world will judge you based on appearances, but only you know what you carry inside. Across Genevieve's face shifted something. Greed, calculation, regret. Lucille stuttered. You must forgive. We were simply protecting our family's image. I replied, You shamed me, dismissed me, erased me. But you dined at my table. Tonight wasn't about food. It was about respect. David said softly, If I'd known. I stopped him. If you'd known, you'd treat me well. That's exactly why I never told. Love that depends on money isn't love. Carlos offered to call security, sensing the tension. Genevieve's father snapped, We'll sue. I said, calm. For what? For exposing my own family's cruelty? This was the moment of truth. If you want to remain in Chloe's life, you will prove to me you have changed. Not for my money, not for status, but out of true respect. Julian cleared his throat. Mrs. Evelyn, the next reservation arrives soon. I nodded, the fatigue settling. You are all excused. Sometimes grace means knowing when to walk away. They left. Genevieve angry, Lucille weeping, David broken, Chloe's absence heavy. At home, I stared at old photos, wondering how the years changed so many things. A message pinged. David, desperately apologizing, swearing he would improve. But I remembered the kindness of a stranger, another customer, who praised my dignity, who saw me as role model for his own daughters. For him, I replied, Thank you. True respect is rare, and your words matter. Tonight, I watched the city through my window, realizing that everything I'd built was intact, even if my family wasn't. Sometimes those closest are blindest to what matters. Tomorrow I'd invest in myself, travel, paint, help other single mothers. And maybe someday, when David and Genevieve learn that love is not measured in wealth or dresses, we'd find each other again. For now, I will be my own home. If you ever feel invisible, remember your worth is decided by you, not by the table you're offered. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to remember their own strength. Leave a comment. How would you handle a night like this? Subscribe for more stories where dignity wins. Your voice matters. Tell me, what's the bravest thing you've ever done for yourself?